Oh man. All right, what time is it? Ask
Ask
your
your aunties. Yes.
Oh, let's see. Who wants to read it this week?
I'll do it.
First, do we have an update first? Do we do the
Oh,
update?
we do have an
Oh,
update.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So last week, let me pull it up here. So last week, if you caught the episode, if not, catch it because it's a good episode. We had the Ask Your Aunties about couples like fighting in the club and the bars and everything to kind of get off because it like riled them up and things. And the person that sent it in, because we're like, if that's your friend, how you still going to the club and everything like that? So the person, oh, I'm trying to find it here real quick. Shit, hold on, bear with me. I should have had this up. I should have been. Oh, you know what? Because I'm under my own Instagram. That's why. There we go. But they said, let's see here, because then we started talking. Said because I think we asked like what nationality were they, and he was like they are Hispanic, and he's like, and it was actual fighting because that was another question we had. We're like, oh, is it kind of like tick for tat? He's like, no, they were actually fighting. He said one time my friend got on top of her man's car with a bottle of Corona and scratched the bumper, got her hands all cut up. He grabbed her up by her hair to get her off the car. I'm like, girl, that's crazy. I was like, are they still together? He said, oh no, they were together for like 5 years, then they broke up. Hashtag thank you, Jesus.
Yeah, I know that's right.
So, I mean, maybe that's the thing. It's just like, it might be cute in the moment, but that shit ain't gonna last. Like,
No.
Damn.
That's not healthy.
That for 5 years?
Girl.
The therapy afterwards.
Oof.
That's the bill.
Honey, you reckon it ain't cheap.
God, can you imagine going from a relationship like that and then find yourself in another relationship that's actually healthy? Like, can you imagine the amount of
which is
sabotage?
funny because that's kind of the question. That's kind of the question too.
Yeah.
You know, like, so I guess I'll read it. So today's question, this episode's question is, aunties, how do you end an amazing relationship because you are moving away for your career? They already told you to follow your career and that they will cross that bridge when we get there.
Ooh, I think we've all kind of been in that situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, so I don't know if I've ever told the full kind of story of Corey and our relationship. We met in Chicago, and the reason we've kind of moved all over the place was Corey got a job offer to move to Texas. And this was like early first 10 months of our relationship, maybe even. And I was like, I'm not moving nowhere for no dude without my career being like solid. Like like it just did not make sense to me in my head to also have a great career and moving up and things like that to simply throw that away just because, quote unquote, I found myself in love. You know, it just I was just like, I can't do this. I was like, if it's gonna work out, it's gonna work out. And long distance relationships sucked, by the way, because we did it for like a year and a half, damn near 2 years, and it sucks. I don't know how we got through it. Praise Jesus, we still together. But personally, especially it depends maybe potentially on your age and where you're at in your career. Like at that point, I was like 29, 30. I'm trying to remember now. Yeah, 28, 29. And I was just getting my career really going where I needed to go. And so for me, sometimes you got to put that first. And if the relationship is going to last, it's going to last. Like you make it work somehow. Like I remember we were like flying back and forth. You're like, okay, you know, I'll come down maybe this weekend in the month. When can you come back up here this weekend? And it's a lot of money. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of crying. It's a lot of emotional taxation. Like it's a lot. But if it's meant to be, it'll work. And what happens for, at least for me, I was able to find an opportunity to get a promotion out of it. Like we moved to Dallas. He moved to Dallas. And there was a opening in that particular office that they were like, and it's just weird how things work out. I didn't even like apply for it really. They like tapped me and said, Kerel, we know you're interested in moving to Dallas. We have this role that we just created and I think you would be perfect for. And I was like, okay, you know? And so things just, if you just do right by the relationship, do right by yourself, do right by your career, you just do right, somehow things just freaking work out if it's supposed to work out. It's gonna hurt though. Like, say you do have to call it quits in your relationship, and it sounds like it was an amazing relationship. It's gonna hurt then, you know. Like, but clearly, you right now your priority is the career. You kind of said it, so stand in it.
So what would you do? Because I think it sounds
I
like
would do the career.
Wants to get out. No, and I think this is in between the two because he says, "How do you end?" So I think
how do you end it?
Yeah, so I think they're ready to go. I think
that's say you're ready to go. I mean, obviously, say it in nicer terms than that, but just say, hey, you know, right now I can't turn down this career opportunity. And it sounds like the other person was just like, we'll cross that bridge when we cross it. So, but just let them know where you stand. The career, this opportunity is huge for me. It's important to me.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with you. Has nothing to do with the relationship. I think you're freaking amazing. I love our relationship. But this is something that I need to do to further my career and to further something that I want to do for myself, that I need to do for myself. And if I don't do that, I might hold animosity to this relationship now. Mm-hmm. I invite you with me. If you can find a job, I want you out there. But I also know that if your career is important to you, it might not be as easy for you to get up and leave. And I know that. And it's okay. And we'll figure it out. If it meant to be, we'll figure it out down the line. But at least right now, this is what I need to do. And I don't want to hold you where you don't need to be following me around if you can't do that. So yeah.
Yeah. I totally get that. I mean, I think my advice would be like, it's okay to know that you can't handle, or not even can't, but just don't want to handle the stress of living in a new place, because starting over is hard. Mm-hmm. When you have a network and you have people around, you got your family, your friends, whatever, going to a new place and start all over is hard. And to do it alone, it makes it even more lonely. So you also kind of have you have to have a certain amount of freedom to find your own footing there, you know? And it's hard to do that when you are also with someone and having to give your attention to someone across the country or in a whole different other state, because then you're not giving yourself the proper amount of time you need to figure out who you are in this new place. So I totally understand simply just living in two different parts and having to start all over now, because everyone can't do that. And also, I mean, if your relationship is in a good place, I think then you should be able to do that. I don't see why you can't do that and be able to stick in your relationship. But it sounds like starting in a new place, starting a new job, and then focusing on maintaining the relationship while it's a long distance is just a recipe of too much. And that is okay. That is okay. And I think you should be happy with yourself that you know your limits. Yeah. Because what you don't want to do is to push it and it turn ugly, you know? Like, if you're on good terms now, if it's an amazing relationship, it's okay to end on those relationships, because who knows, maybe a year later you're like, you know what, I know my city, it's home now, etc. Maybe I can try this long distance thing again. I'm comfortable in my job. I have the energy now and the time and the space that I need to dedicate and feed what the relationship requires.
Yeah.
So end it on good notes, but be honest with yourself and don't feel bad, because, I mean, unless this is the first person that you've ever dated, you've been in love once, it can happen again.
There's more dick in the sea, like we say. But yeah, it's gonna hurt. Like, relationship, especially if it's a good relationship, you know, like you end it, you're like, damn, like I enjoyed this human being. It's gonna hurt. Like, and honestly, Corey and I broke up there for a while, and it hurt. Like, I was like, but hold on, like, did I do the right? You might second guess yourself. might be like, damn, did I do the right thing? Do I really enjoy this job as much like as I enjoy this person? Like you're gonna go through all that range of emotion.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, if your first gut inclination is saying my career and this is a good opportunity, usually that first gut feel before all the weight of the emotions come on top of it is usually the right choice.
Yeah.
What do you think,
I think
Dawon?
the only thing I keep thinking about is, like keep going back to the question of how do you end an amazing relationship because you're moving away for your career, and I think it starts with clarity. Like, what is it that you absolutely want? Like, if you don't want to be in that relationship and you want to pursue your career, that's the conversation you need to have. I think if you're confused about whether you can have both, that's problematic. And I think again that it's problematic in the sense that you may be prematurely making a choice on behalf of you and the other person, that and omitting the fact that there could be some kind of compromise that can make both you and your career and your relationship with this person happy. So I think the question that you have to ask yourself is, do you want the relationship to end? You got to answer that question. It's clear that you want the job, but having the job doesn't necessarily mean that you have to end the relationship. But if you want the relationship to end so that you can pursue the job, build a different life, whatever, you find that we often are on the precipice of walking through new doors and finding a new life for ourselves. And sometimes we have to let go of the things that we held on to or the things that we clung to in our former life so that we can embrace our new life. And that's just a part of, just life. You have to ask yourself that question. What is it that you really want? If you really want, to just pursue the career and that be your focus, then how you end the relationship is you have a conversation with your partner and say, hey, listen, you know what? I think the relationship for me has come to an end. Doesn't mean that I don't love you, but I need to put all of my energy into driving my career. And that's the most important thing. I wish that I didn't feel this way. I wish I could see a path for us to continue moving forward, but I don't, not at this time. And so, or not
Come
ever.
on, HR response. Not at this time.
Not at this time. That is
true. I can't.
But it boils down to that essential question. If you want the relationship to end, then you will find a way to make it end. And if you want it to end and you want it to end in an amicable way, that's another question, because you can make it end and just ghost the person, or, use, do something petty like a lot of us do and instigate a fight so that it precipitates a reason for y'all to break up, and it gives you the feels that, okay, now I can move on.
Justification.
Right. We've all been there. This is part of life.
Yeah.
All of those things are valid and all of those things happen and all of those are part of life. I think at the end of the day, you have to figure out what you want.
Yeah, but I think they do know what they want because they chose a job. They already chose. They said they are moving away for their career. So in this situation, the career has been chosen over the relationship.
It makes me
the
wonder,
choice
though.
has already been made.
It almost makes me wonder, though, if they put that decision, because sometimes, like, you make your decision and you make the decision for the other person. And so with this saying, they already told you to follow your career and we'll cross that bridge, gives me kind of inclinations that you chose the decision for the other person, that this person might have been okay for you to move away for the career and maybe do the long distance or break up for a time being, and maybe I could get another job. So this is almost like a ... We almost might need more information, because with that last sentence, it almost sounds like you chose the decision for that other person. You chose your decision and their decision, and then give them the option to.
Can you clarify? Because I'm confused when you mean by they chose their decision. Because
he says they, meaning the partner, already told him to follow his career. So bringing it up, saying, hey, I have this opportunity, And if your partner said, choose your career, follow your career, and we'll cross that bridge. Sounds like that they're on board to potentially uproot their life and follow suit because they know how much your career is, how important it is to you. But now you're talking about ending the relationship. You haven't even allowed me to like think and come to that conclusion as well. And so that's where it kind of feels, and I don't know, we need the ... So we'll go back to this person to
So
see if
maybe
there's
it's
additional
more
info.
than just about moving and choosing the
Yes.
career.
Yes.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I also feel like there's a lot of justification going on in these two little sentences, because I feel like we've all been in a situation where like you start talking to somebody, whether it's, you know, through the apps or in person or whatever, you start talking to somebody and like, yeah, you know, I'm about to move in a couple of weeks and blah, blah, blah. Well, you know, we can just have some fun until you leave or whatever. And yeah, you having fun, but you having fun every damn day. And then your feelings get involved and then your perspective changes. So, I mean, I don't know when their partner said to them, oh yeah, well, you know, we'll just cross that bridge when we come to it, because that could be very early on in a relationship.
Yeah, that's true too.
And the feelings have changed since then.
Yeah.
You know, so like them saying they already told me 6 months ago that if I want to leave, that I could just leave.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that to me feels like a little bit of a justification. Like if they said, oh, they told me when we talked about it last night, you know, that if you decide ultimately that you want to leave, then that's your choice. That's a different situation. But if they told you something 6 months ago, 4 weeks ago, or whatever, and then you've now come to a decision, but in the meantime, y'all been continuing to getting close, because he did say, or they did say, I don't know if it's a he, but they did say that they have an amazing relationship, right? So I have to imagine that since the time of that conversation, they have gotten closer and closer and closer. Feelings are now might be potentially different.
Oh, we need a follow-up on this one. We're gonna have to go back to this one. We're gonna look this one up and see if they could give us some OT on this, because and but at the end of the day, this is life. This is some true ass shit that happens all the time, where a lot of times you gotta put the choices between your career and your relationships in your life, and there's never a true balance, quite frankly. Like it might be 60% this week work, 40% relationships. Next week might be vice versa. So that's a real ass statement. Continue to send your questions in, by the way. DM us. It seems like that's what a lot of folks like to do. We'll continue to put these up. Continue to send in your questions. Come on now. We need some fresh questions. This was a fresh question, by the way. So we need some new ones, and we like the different perspectives, because we haven't really had a lot of career questions like this. So AYA@minorityareport.com as well if you want to email us.